Welcome to the Movement Manufacturing Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly. Just kidding, I'm not your host, but I'm here with your host, Mike Baristanok, and today we're talking about tips to expand your collection.
All right, let's go.
Today we're talking about tips on how to expand your collection without coming out with 3 million different designs.
Yeah, I think what we're going to talk about today, I think is useful for everyone who's starting a line or starting out, new to the clothing industry. I mean, this is what everybody runs into, and I mean, we're going to talk about it where, you know, expanding your line, I guess, as in the different SKUs, putting together a full collection on your website or just on your line sheet, I guess we can call it too. Mm-hmm. And just really filling it up so that way your buyers, your wholesalers, or your actual consumers, have a decent selection to shop without sitting on thousands of units of inventory, without having to deal with long lead time manufacturers. And so Kelly's going to kind of take us through the tips that that are important for everybody. So what do we got to start?
I think another tip to or another important thing about these tips is how to expand your collection without wasting a ton of money. Because a lot of times when people try to beef up their website or their line sheet, obviously you want to offer your customers a wide selection of products, but you might not have all the money in the world to develop 10 different types of tops. Yeah. So how can you kind of expand and give them that variety without actually having to invest a ton of money in your first round?
Yeah, because not just inventory. I know I said inventory before because obviously inventory is money, but also when you're doing a new design, the pattern making, the product development, the sampling, the testing, all that stuff is
gonna cost them.
Yeah, cost them time and money. So I mean, important. There's definitely we're gonna go through a handful of different ways to save time and money. Expanding your collection. And so that first one is really say our clients or people who have a small line, say they have their first batch that they put out. What can they do from there to help add product selection?
Okay, so say they come out with first round, they come out with 3 different tops and 3 different bottoms. Is that typical? Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing that they could do, even in that first round or when they're coming back out with the second round of stuff, is offer your clients the same fit but different materials or different colors. So one thing that is nice about any brand, if you think about any brand that you like, if you have a favorite t-shirt or a favorite pair of jeans, when you go back, you want to buy the exact same thing but maybe a different color or a different embellishment. So one thing that they could do is revisit a different type of fabric, whether it's heavier, lighter, different texture, or a different color. Mm-hmm. The second thing I think that they could do is the embellishment. So if they did a plain shirt before, maybe they want to offer something screen printed on it or, heat transferred on it. If they want to just cut it in half and sew back together so you get one extra seam. Yeah. Something like that is going to give you variety without switching everything up on your customers. So you're going to appease the people who want to come back, but be able to offer them some variety and get them to make a second purchase. Because if they come back to your website because they liked that first t-shirt and then you don't have any of those t-shirts again, you kind of just lost them.
Yeah. And what what kind of came to mind is that you basically are gaining trust from that customer. So say they make that first purchase from you, they like that shirt, they like the fit, and they feel good and they feel good in it. And when they can come back and know that they can grab that same that same fit, but in a different color, different material, or what it might be. It's a way for you to add variation. It's a way for them to come back and see a new product, but also it's also them gaining trust, knowing that they can come back time and time and time again, and there's some consistency in the sizing and the product and some of the material, and therefore they just feel more comfortable.
Totally. And I think making that clear to your customers, whether it's the same fit as your first shirt or it's the same material, make that known so that if a customer comes back because they like the way the fabric felt, then they can find other products that are made out of that fabric. So it's kind of like using, like crossing over your fabrics with your products so that you can kind of, make your customers happy on all ends.
Yeah.
So if it's the same type of fit, but you change the fabric, you want to let your customer know that also ahead of time so that they don't get that shirt and just think because they're shopping online, oh, it's just a different color. And then they get it and it's totally different.
Yeah.
So maybe differentiating the types of fabric you use and differentiating the type of fits that you have. That way it's really clear for your customers online. And that, again, that gives you a bunch of different SKUs without actually having to develop new products. And that's no extra cost to you on our end, because you're basically just saying, what are my other options for colors? Or fabrics. Maybe we make you one other sample and then, you're good to go. You already have your pattern. You already have your sizes. You're just immediately going into production of coming out with a new product.
Yeah. No, I mean, you said it all there. And I think to tie it in, to our manufacturing process, if basically you've developed, I guess we'll use a women's long sleeve shirt, because we had a client who recently developed a women's long sleeve shirt. We went through the design process, the pattern making, we sourced the fabric because we do all of it in-house for our clients, and they went forward with kind of like a heavyweight cotton. Went out, sold it. It sold well, and now they're coming back. And they want to go with a different color and also a lighter material, lighter cotton material. And so, one, it's important for them to communicate that to their customer that, hey, it's going to be the same fit, but it's a different color, a little different feel. It might be for more of like the summertime versus the winter fall time. But then not only that, we don't charge additional setup fees or development fees once you've developed your product and your pattern. And I think that that's something that we bring to the table, and we constantly stress. And I don't know if everyone has watched our docu-series, but we put that out on YouTube and Facebook. It takes you through basically our manufacturing process, and we talk a lot about plugging and playing fabrics and colors, because we don't charge development fees for you to apply different fabrics and colors to a product you've already developed. So I think it's the quickest and it's the most cost efficient way for our clients to basically expand their collection.
Yeah, I think really one of the more expensive things about starting a collection and starting with products from scratch is that they're going to have to pay those development fees, and they're going to have to go through rounds of sampling to make sure everything gets right. So one thing too that you might want to communicate while you're developing your first products or your first round of products is if what you're going for is fit or whether you're going for fabric, because you don't want to come to a dead end somewhere. So if you're choosing a fabric that is really difficult for us to source for you because it's very specific and it's not something that is stocked within these companies that stock fabric, if you're trying to come out, and you'll know that as we're trying to develop this product for you. But if you are obsessed with this one fabric and it only comes in 2 colors, just know that when you go to put that product out again in the second color, you're going to be at a dead end. So if you have those customers that are obsessed with that fabric, but not necessarily your fit, that might not be a road to go down if you're really trying to branch out and expand your line. If you're trying to do a one and done type thing, that might work for you. But you don't want to come to a place where you can't branch off once you've developed one product. And I think that's what we try to get our customers to understand and to learn, is that that's a quick, yes, but like efficient way to broaden their selection, a customer selection from their brand.
Yeah, definitely. And when I work on the front lines, working with clients and communicating back and forth with them, and as we're sourcing, I try to do the best that I absolutely can to express what you just said. That when we're looking for a fabric, yes, we might come across something that you like, and I'll communicate. Oh, there's very limited options, and I definitely do come across. There's sometimes when we do have a client where they were looking for a specific color for a T-shirt, and it actually took us a few weeks to be able to track it down. Finally found a supplier that had it, but it was the only color they had of this fabric. And so we communicated that to the client, and what we risk now running into is that yes, their clients their customers really like that color. Yes, and also really like that fabric. Now to follow it up with that same design, but with a different color, it's going to be hard.
You might need to label it as a totally new product and not necessarily be able to pull it off as the same thing, just with a different color. And that goes back to, again, my point about trying to, what we do personally is we name our fabrics and we name our fits, and then you can kind of mix and match. So someone can get the same style fit pant, but with a different fabric. And then people start to learn what they like. Oh, I really like this fit. I'm going to try out all the different fabrics in this fit. Or I really like this fabric. I'm going to get every product that's in that fabric that I can. Yeah. And once you kind of have those two paths, you can kind of, mix and match and let your customer choose which way they want to go.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can go through countless scenarios with clients that we've had these exact conversations where I had another one who looking for specifically 14-ounce sweatshirt fleece. We found a great supplier of it. Only had like the 5 basic colors. Obviously communicated that to the client, and they were totally open with it. They're going with the 3 colors. They know that's the end of it, after those 3 colors. But also, you have to figure out what works for you, because I think what they're going to be doing is keeping this as a staple. It might not be changing. I think it's the gray, navy, and black, and those are going to be their 3 staples. They're going to reorder them, and they're not going to expand off of that.
I think that kind of leads into, like, what do you do if you love a fabric but you're stuck with it? You can't really expand. So say you have your 3 colors. You made an awesome sweatshirt and you've exhausted the 3 colors that are popular. So let me guess, that's gray, light gray, and black, or maybe navy.
In our case.
Yeah. Those colors never go out of style, which is why that's what is stocked and that's available. So something you could do there is you could put some sort of print on it, or if you had a hoodie, just chop the hood off, make it into a crew neck. Your shoulders, your arms, the body is going to fit the same. Off. Yeah, you want to put a seam down the middle of the back or across the front. You maybe attach different color sleeves to your sweatshirt, so now you have a 2-tone sweatshirt. That's totally up to you what the design is, but again, you're just basically using the stencil of your product and moving the fabric around, or just adding something that is an embellishment, something that's not going to change the fit. So you have the exact same product, but it looks different.
Yeah. And this is, and again, like, I guess this we talk about doing these things in terms of what we do for our customers. I'd be very surprised if third-party pattern makers, third-party manufacturers are able to put this together, really basically free of charge.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because once we make your pattern, if you want to make, slices to it, add seams to it, we can do that. We do charge, for each sample, but we aren't charging development fees. You're not going to pay for a whole new sample. Or a whole new pattern. So we're thinking in terms of how, we'll be able to guide you through all of this. Why don't you touch on the last thing here of just keeping products simple. In order to get them actually released and released quickly.
Gotcha. So if you're trying to expand your collection, which means you're trying to offer variety to your customers, you have to have some money to allocate towards different products.
Yeah.
If you have the most complicated products under the sun, that's going to cost you a lot of money. You'll have to sell it for a lot of money, which is great. Maybe that is your market. But if you have to spend a lot of money to make those samples, and then your price point for that sample is a lot of money, then you're not going to have a lot to go around and spread out through all these different types of products. So think about what your end goal here is. If you're trying to make a lot of products, try to keep them simple. The simpler they are, the simpler your development is going to be, which means that costs less to you. The simpler it is for us to make it, which means it's going to be cheaper for you to buy, and then you can sell it for, whatever you want. But if you keep them simple, that also leaves room for you to elevate them afterwards. So start simple and you can build up. Just like we were talking about with that sweatshirt. Say you have a gray sweatshirt and you want to keep the gray, you want to re-release it as something else. Now you can add those embellishments. You already have people that have fallen in love with the fit and the fabric. Now you can kind of tweak it a little bit, just basically on the outside. Yeah. You're not actually changing the construction of the sweatshirt at all. Mm-hmm. You're just embellishing it a little bit. Now you have two products, and it really only costs you the price of that first sample.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And, from a customer standpoint, it goes back to what we said before when they buy that original item. It might be the basic version of it, but when they go to buy, say, the updated version of it, we're able to keep that same fit. No matter what.
Nothing's worse than like finding something you love and not being able to go back and get it again.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we've covered all the tips. Am I missing anything? Is that?
I think so. But let's recap. Let's circle back around and give those 4 points.
Circle around to the 4 points. Number 1.
Okay.
Are we going in order, though?
We're going to go in order. Okay, number 1, plug and play your fabric. So keep your same pattern, but try different fabrics.
Yep.
Next, choose a different color.
Different colors.
So same fabric, same fit, same everything, but just introduce some new colors.
Easy as that.
Embellish your product with prints, screen printing, heat pressed, seam slices, whatever it is. Yep. Same fit, same fabric, same color, but now you're, elevating it a little bit. Yeah. Spicing it up. All right, and the last tip would be to keep your design simple.
Yep.
Simple is going to cost you a lot less money.
A lot quicker.
Yeah, and then you can have multiple products. If you have one super complicated product, you only got one product. If you have 5 really cool, good fitting, awesome fabric products that are in different colors, now you have a whole collection.
Boom. Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. I don't know if can you tell Kelly's hat? It says iced coffee. We'll try to zoom in on that iced coffee.
It's pretty popular when I actually order an iced coffee. Shout out to Starbucks this morning.
Shout out. Okay. All right. We're wrapping up here. Another day at Movement MFG. Kelly, thank you for reeling this in, hosting us, did the intro.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
We'll see if that makes the cut.
Okay. But yeah, we're going to be back tomorrow with another episode. Just continuing to try to bring you guys value and explain our process so that you can get your lines up and running. All right. Kelly?
That's all.
All right. See ya. Peace.